This is a story of how I was able to help my son buy a house. So, when I was able to buy a house with my husband when we were young because my mother gave us some money for the down payment. So, when my son was in a position to possibly be able to get one, um, his wife was teaching in Oakland. There were special programs for teachers, but they didn't have enough. So at the time, I owned 5 acres of land with a little cabin on it up in the woods, and I thought, it's so important to me to help them. I'm going to sell this land. So I called up the real estate agent who I had worked with, and when I purchased it, and he said, "Oh my goodness, nothing's moving up there. This is a terrible time to sell land." Well, I just decided that's a story. I'm not going to accept that reality. So I decided, okay, I'm going to go up there and spend the night and just love the place up. I'm just going to love it. So I did that. I went up and I had a wonderful time, and I just paid attention to every precious thing about being there. This big, beautiful black oak tree right outside the front porch, this wonderful little wood stove that had a squirrel embossed on the side, the smell of the air. It was a mile down a dirt road, a very, very isolated, magical, quiet, peaceful place. And I just loved being there. But the next morning, nothing magic had happened. It was time to go home. So I kind of looked around and, said goodbye and locked the door and got in my car and drove down the hill. And I got about halfway home and realized that I had left a pair of jeans there, the jeans that I wore every day to work. So then I thought, oh golly, if I went back, it would add like another hour and a half to the trip. And I was just about to decide not to go back when I kind of heard this little voice inside that said, "Get the pants, go get the pants." So I went back up the hill and wound around and finally got to the land, went down the dirt road and went into the cabin, got my pants, and again kind of looked around to see if something magic was happening. I was wanting something magic to happen, so I was looking for it. But I didn't see anything, so I closed up the cabin, got in the truck, and pulled out to the dirt road. And there, right where our driveway connected with the dirt road, was a man who I'd never seen before, probably in his late 60s, early 70s. He had a big dog with him. And I'm out in the middle of nowhere, but I just pulled up right next to him and rolled down the window. And he was the most physically unattractive person I'd ever seen. He unfortunately had Bell's palsy on one side of his face, so things were hanging. And the other side, he had a large, bright red welt on his face. And some part of me didn't take note of that or worry about my safety or anything like that. I just rolled down the window and said, "Hi." And he said to me, "Hi, I think I met your husband last time you were up here, and my best friend lives up the road. I love it up here. You want to sell your land to me?" So I, of course, said yes. And later that week, he bought the land for me, and I was able then to help my son buy a house.